What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another oddball episode of Off the Schneid. Sounds like Twitter's having some, not even sounds like, sorry, both actually. YouTube is obviously having some massive issues right now. So that's fun. I don't know if anybody can really even find it. BBG's live right now and it's working for him. So I'm going to keep streaming and hopefully it works out. I'm just going to fire the tweet and hopefully people know we're going live and want to draft. And then, Twitter's having issues streaming as well. So from StreamYard. So I don't know if anybody's even watching, but there's some comments in the chat. I see some people here. That's good. It's a weird one tonight. I've never seen YouTube do this before. But we'll see. We'll see. So okay, fired out a tweet. We're live. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's do it. That's odd. Weirdest thing I've ever seen on the YouTube machine. But what's up to the chat? We got Steven Hines. What's up, man? We're doing great. Appreciate that. Tyreek Hill released. He was always going to be released. I kind of called that when we talked about it. We went over the cap stuff. So yeah, that was always going to happen. I'm not into Tyreek Hill at all. I'm not drafting Tyreek Hill whatsoever. He's just I just don't need it in my life. I don't feel like. Bucky shoulder surgery, yeah. I have no concerns. No concerns. And the shoulder, I think, was before he got hurt, then came back and had a great game to finish up the season. So I'm not concerned about Bucky. Love the role. Ever try the maple syrup whiskey? I have. I don't like it, man. It's too sweet. Like I'm not, I like big Scotch guy. So yeah, not it's a little too sweet. There's like the apple whiskey and maple and honey. I don't know if is there honey whiskey? I don't know, but there's maple and apple. That I don't like that kind of stuff personally. So I know it exists, but yeah. Frank, what's up, man? Appreciate you popping in here. On my tablet, all YouTube went down. Thought it was just me. No, it seems like everybody. So again, hopefully there's people watching. I know you guys are obviously in here, down to multiple devices. Yeah, you have to like search it basically. Everybody's is on the fritz. Everybody's YouTube is on the fritz. So basically, you have to like search out my channel, know that I'm going live, maybe see it on Twitter, whatever, and get on here. It's kind of the weirdest thing I've seen in a little bit as far as the YouTube machine is concerned, but. Whatever, we're live, we're working, it's working. We're gonna draft. So let's jump into it. Hopefully we can I'm trying to fill a war room. So hopefully we can do that. So let's jump into that right now. If you're in the chat and you have a war room bullet left and you want to jump in, this is my last one. So I'm gonna jump into that. And then we'll kind of chat through a few things. Waiting on 4. So it'll definitely fill. Shouldn't take too long, I don't think. And like I said, if you're in the chat, you want to draft, jump in. But a couple of things I just want to talk about. We're going to talk about it while we're in Underdog here because it's kind of relevant, or we can pull up some examples and stuff like that as we go. But what I wanted to chat about is just like finding the parallels and the things that the lessons that we learn from DFS. If anybody plays DFS out there, I'm sure we all do week to week, right? And the lessons that we learn and things that we can take away from DFS and apply it to best ball. So one of my cardinal rules as far as DFS is concerned, typically it's the cheaper guys, the guys down the list a little bit, but you can apply it to the guys at the top as well, and especially quarterbacks. It's a lot of it's matchup dependent, right? And it's week to week, so everything changes week after week, essentially, right? So one of my cardinal rules as far as DFS is concerned is don't chase points. So don't chase last week's points, I should say. That's my rule. Don't chase last week's points, right? Just because, let's use Parker Washington as an example. He did it a few times last year. He had a big spike week the year before, or a couple the year before, right? Just because he has a big spike week, we can't just say, oh, okay, now Parker Washington's a guy I should include in my player pool or in my lineup or whatever, right? We can't do that. Same thing with quarterbacks. When there's a good matchup and they blow up, they have 30 points, whatever it is. A lot of times the next week, you'll see that player highly owned, right? And just because, again, people are expecting a similar output. Oh, he's a guy now. That's how it goes. He's going to get 10 targets, whatever it is, right? So we need to be implying that to best ball as far as we can't chase last year's points or last year's kind of like hype, right? Is another kind of part about it. So there's not particularly anyone in the first round that we're really doing that with, but we could absolutely say that Hampton is kind of that guy. I'm drafting Hampton, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying he could be one of those, that we're chasing last year's, and in this case, it's last year's hype that we're chasing, not necessarily his output. We're chasing last year's hype. I do that too in DFS. Sports are law of averages. If someone's caught off their worst game, they're more likely to have their best game the next week. So yeah, like let's not chase last week's points. I don't care if Parker Washington had 30 points last week. He's most likely not going to be doing that again this week, right? We did see some of that with like a guy like Michael Wilson, but even that was a little bit, right, hit and miss at times, right? So I should say Jacoby Brissett was kind of the consistent, the consistent producer, I guess, in that offense. But yeah, Michael Wilson would kind of go up and down. So that's another guy that we're kind of chasing last year's stats, where everything is now changed as far as the Cardinals are concerned. Just today, Tyson Bagent, they're interested in, which is great. Like, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are interested in Tyson Bagent, at a $10 million deal, who has potential to be able to start in the NFL. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have interest in Tyson Bagent. I really wish he only signed a 1-year deal or didn't sign anything, Bagent, and just was available this offseason to get a deal to go, battle for a starting, spot somewhere in the league. But regardless, he took a little bit of money. His dad was like dirt poor. So I can kind of understand wanting to secure the bag a little bit, but I don't know. He's bet on himself a few times in his career. So anyways, different story for another day, realistically. But so yeah, that's kind of, I've started doing some ranks. I'm only like 50 players deep, so we're going to switch it back to ADP, but I do have some differences as far as ranks are concerned. Nothing crazy, but I'll kind of toggle between the two. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about and touch on, was, again, just not chasing last year's points. I think George Pickens is that type of deal as well, right? Where if he's not attached to this offense, to the Cowboys, to Dak Prescott, to Marty Schottenheimer, no. What's his name? What's his first name? That's his dad. Schottenheimer, anyways. Then is he worth this draft capital? I don't think so. So that's kind of another example. Rashee Rice just chasing the hype habitually. Like how his rookie year, yeah, that's great. That's different. He was drafted a different spot, but we've been chasing the hype for 2 years now. And again, could still be suspended. He could be in jail, for Christ's sake. But not likely, but he's almost certainly to be suspended, I think. But chasing there, even Kenny Walker to an extent, not going to be franchise tag, which is crazy. What I did not have on my bingo card for the last, say, few days, week of the Twitter machine was Breece Hall's going to be tagged and Kenny Walker's not. That's very shocking to me. I would have bet a good amount of money that it would have been reversed, and Breece Hall would not be tagged and Kenny Walker would, but here we are. Bagent's dad is the GOAT of arm wrestling. Yeah, I know. He's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. Yeah, that's where kind of some of it comes from for Bagent. But anyway, again, I would have bet on myself if I was Bagent. He's done it a few times. He could have transferred out of Shepherd to a lot. There was a lot of schools looking to, and I think that was like the year before NIL. So that might have changed things for him at that time. But I think he absolutely probably should have transferred out of Shepherd, didn't, bet on himself, whatever you want to say, goes undrafted, and then wins the backup job at Chicago, kind of rewards them back for that. And then, he's going to, at some point, I think in his career, he's going to have a chance to start somewhere. It's just how soon is that going to be? And again, a team's going to have to trade for him right now. So I just don't necessarily see the Chicago Bears pulling the trigger on a trade like that. Why? Unless, again, they get blown out of the water. I don't think any of these teams, so we're talking Mac Jones, we're talking Tyson Bagent, we're talking Davis Mills. Why do any of them get traded? Unless, again, they get blown out of the water. They're really going to have to get blown out of the water to make a trade, I think. Brees Hall hating life, still counting the days he gets to leave the Jets. I just hope that they kind of smarten up and say, okay, yeah, we're not going to tag you. Go ahead. Like, and then I saw someone, who I kind of like and don't want to call out, but it didn't make a lick of sense to me, basically saying they could do like a tag and trade deal. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. If they were going to do that, why didn't they just trade him for a fourth, which is what basically this person was saying, is they could tag him and then trade him for a fourth instead of letting him walk and get a compensatory pick of the 5th round, right? It's like, okay, but why didn't they just trade him last year for a fourth? When they could have locked that in and to get a 2026 fourth, which is what he was saying that they might be after. But it's like, again, that just doesn't make any sense. If you ask me, it doesn't make a lick of sense, but what do I know? So I don't see that happening. If they tag him, the plan is for him to play. The war room filled here. Not too many guys that I know, which is great. I've drafted with JT Binniger a bunch of times. A lot of badges, but I don't really know too many of these guys. So if you're in the chat and you're drafting, let me know. But this is a war room, my final war room. Keep hope alive. Rest in peace, Jesse. Not sure what that means. Not sure what that means, man. But shout out. Rest in peace. That Brees Hall thing is hard to figure out right now. Hard to click for me at this time. I'm going to have to pull back on Brees Hall. I like him a lot, but I just can't be doing it. I'm going to take Jonathan Taylor. I don't think I have him in a war room. There's only 4 bullets that anyone can have in the war room, but I don't believe I have, and I also have a slow going right now for the war room, which I'm on the clock actually, and I'm probably going to be getting Justin Jefferson there. What are my other 2 picks in the first round? I'm going to pull that up on my phone just so I have some reference. I don't want to overlap as much as I kind of can. Jefferson, Achan. Love and CD. Perfect. So getting a JT share feels really good. Jesse Jackson, 84, died today. Nice. Well, not nice. Sorry. Shout out though. Yeah. Like nice shout out by you is what I was saying nice to. Not that that's a good thing, obviously. All right. Let's pull up the board. But yeah, so let's talk about some of the news that we got, I guess. Like the whole Brees Hall thing, he's got to pull back for me a little bit. If he's on the Jets, that kills him. But also Braylon Allen, one of my highest drafted running backs is Braylon Allen, and that's going to have to really significantly change for sure. Basically he's undraftable right this second at his ADP. This is the stupidest thing. Like it hurts Brees Hall's value a ton. It kills Braylon Allen and it kills Isaiah Davis. If they just let him go to whoever, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, both very draftable. I've been drafting the shit out of Braylon Allen, but you kind of have to pull back on that. So I'm not realistically going to be drafting any of them until we get a little more clarity on this. I really don't like to see that. It's frustrating. Bucky Irving, the shoulder surgery today, I'm not concerned whatsoever. I'm not changing anything with that. What else did we get as far as any kind of news? Nothing at the top. I mean, there's a lot of like cap casualty kind of talk, like Jacobs, which again, we didn't really go over Jacobs a ton. AJ Brown, I highly doubt goes anywhere. Highly, highly doubt. Supposedly ETN could potentially be a chief, which I could see. That actually makes a lot of sense. It's one of those vets. It's going to be a vet. I think it's Najee or Dowdle are my 2 picks. That's the reason I've been drafting those 2 running backs the way I have, is because I think that one of them is a chief. It's just because I think they're cheaper. They'll both be cheaper, I think, than can't not go Jeremiah Love. That's for sure. They're both going to be cheaper than ETN. So that's kind of the biggest reason why I'm taking those two. We got Fantasy Football Garage. Candyman's in the house. What's up, man? Appreciate you popping in here. Thoughts on James Conner? Even if he gets cut, still projected to end up somewhere and be a stopgap starter. I mean, I'm not a James Conner guy. Like, he's shown us throughout his career that he has it's tough for him to stay healthy for a full, 17 games. He's done it literally once in his career. He has shown value regardless throughout that, like with the injuries, I get it. But at his age, coming off the injury he is coming off of, that's just not for me. I'm going to be 0% James Conner personally. Yeah, he could go somewhere and be like a 1A, 1B type of guy, but he's just not for me, and I'm not drafting James Conner. It's the injury concerns that just kind of do it for me. Yeah, kind of kills him for me, I should say. I'm not drafting Rashee Rice at this price. It's just not happening. I'm going to take some Chris Olave here. I don't draft him enough, and I definitely don't have him in a war room. So let's get some Chris Olave in our lives. I kind of like that. So yeah, no James Conner for this guy. I got so much Breeze. I have a fair amount of Breeze Hall too, man. I like him if he's not on the Jets. I love him if he's not on the Jets. If he goes to the Saints, if he goes to the Chiefs, if he goes basically literally anywhere else, or that's not necessarily true. I do like Breece Hall on the Jets because I like Braylon a lot on the Jets. It's just like I don't want three guys to get kind of knocked at the same time. Three birds are getting stoned at once with this Breece Hall news. Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis, both are in a tough spot. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I think Breece Hall still has to fall, but I don't not like him. I still like him. I like the offensive line as far as the Jets are concerned. Frank Reich, Jonathan Taylor, I think did okay in that offense. I believe Frank Reich was still there for his rookie year, and he did great as a rookie. So I think it's fine. But again, I just don't want to see three guys get killed with this. I'm 40, man, so I'm right there with you. I got no Hall or Connor. Questions. Yeah, I'm out on Connor. The questions have just shown up for Breece Hall, so that sucks. Whohame's in the house. What's up, man? Was live earlier today. Shout out to the Who crew. Let's go back to ADPs. My ranks. I'm probably going to just pull up Terry McLaurin here. I don't have enough, and I want him in a war room. Let's get Terry McLaurin. He's one down from our, he's right where I have him ranked, and I think he's going to continue to rise. So let's get some Terry McLaurin going. Potential Saints stack. Love Olave. This year's Genty Bowers. That's not necessarily untrue. Yeah, love an Olave. That could be. But it's very different than the Genty Bowers. I think you know that, with tight end and running back, plus very different offense, right? Very different offense, very different team it will be. And I actually wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that with sorry, I'm kind of talking about the Genty Bowers, but I wouldn't hate the love to the Saints with Olave. And I might get Shuck in this. We'll see. But I don't mind. Like, one thing I'm doing a little bit more this year than in previous years is getting Hampton and Ladd, doing that a lot. And then Love and Olave, if they're both Saints, cool. I actually kind of like that. And even Bucky Igbuka or Bucky McMillan, doing that a bunch. I haven't done it yet, but Chase and Chase for my Bengals. So yeah. But I would do that, and I'm kind of looking to. Who do we like here? Could go Harvey. Could go Tate. Let's go Tate, I feel like, but I might do a Dunze. I'm going to do a Dunze because I don't think I have him yet. And I definitely like my guy, Roma Dunze. Still my guy. Still really like him. And in not a crazy theory at all, this is wide receiver 1 on all 3 teams here. Wide receiver 1, Olave, that's almost for sure. Terry McLaurin, that's, again, almost for sure. Roma Dunze, I mean, you could say Loveland is the number 1 receiving option on that team. And then there's the guys that love Burden, but I'm not one that likes Burden over Roma Dunze personally. So I kind of like that. Tate is a little not necessarily going to walk in and be the alpha on whatever team drafts him, but I do like Tate a ton. Don't get me wrong. I am going to do another draft after this for sure. We'll rip either a big board or a whatever, even a bigger board if we really want to. But I doubt we could fill one. We're not going to wing it and fill one. So probably a big board or a little board if we want. Probably a big board. But yes, we're doing one after this. It's up to the Who crew. Hulk Smash Potatoes in here. What's up, man? Yeah, Who Ames can reach out to me anytime. He knows that. What else do we have for kind of news? Again, the overreacting stuff, Scadaboo. All these running backs in this range that I hate, and I think most other people do as well. Judkins, Henderson, Harvey, Scadaboo, right? Tons of question marks there. We can't be chasing the points from last year. At least I'm not going to be at all. Mike Evans. I was really hoping Daniels would fall to me. That's interesting. Goes 5 straight running backs and then Jaden Daniels. Huh. Interesting. Probably done at probably done at running back, I would assume. Mike Evans, though, might test the waters. I don't know if he's going to have a choice. I think it's not like he's being run out of town, obviously, but like they just kind of have the talent that they need at wide receiver. And with aging Mike Evans, I just don't know if it makes any sense to bring him back realistically. So we'll kind of see. I mean, I could go DK, but like I think it's just Caleb here. Makes sense. Pair him up with the Dunze, sure. I don't like to fall behind a quarterback, and I'm in a really good spot at running back, so I don't necessarily have to force anything there. There's no one else like Parker Washington is fine. The 2 running backs here are fine, but I think the easiest click, it just makes the most sense to take Caleb there. Again, like I've been saying all draft season so far, I'm not forcing stacks at all, but I think this makes a ton of sense. Right at ADP, I already got Rome. I would have much preferred Jaden Daniels there with Terry McLaurin, but I'm fine with McLaurin kind of naked, if you will. But it's just a weird range. I just don't like this range of the draft. The Fannin, Michael Wilson, Sutton even. I mean, I'll take Sutton here. That's for damn sure if he's available. I'll take Warren over Washington. I like Pearsall, but then there's more quarterbacks, right? So this is kind of the quarterback range, I feel like. But Sutton goes, obviously. Kraft goes. It'd be nice to get one of these two. Otherwise, I'm not going to take Pierce with JT. I just am not going to do that. I'm not going to take Monungai. Nice. I really did not want to take another quarterback there, but I probably would have felt like I had to if these two are gone. Pearsall's a smash right here. Absolute smash. That is fantastic. That's kind of exactly how I wanted that to go. That works for me. That's fun. If I don't get 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds, I'm going hero RB. I basically hate the ADP of I agree. This is what I was saying last episode, I think, or the episode before, something like that. I absolutely agree with that. Like, basically after Bucky, I mean, Breeze is an interesting one. Kyron and Etienne are fine, but it's just a really good range for everything else. You got Loveland, you got Tet, even Higgins is there, Jameson Williams is there, Ladd is in that area. Terry McLaurin, all these kind of wide receivers, just other positions. So sometimes I'm trying to get some Kyron and Etienne for sure, but after that, like the Judkins, Henderson, Harvey, Scatteraboo, Williams, Swift. I don't feel good about any of that range, particularly personally. Bayshaw you can throw in there. I don't mind Stevenson, but again, or it's when PPR Tyler was on, we were talking about it, because it's like you smash running back within the first 3 rounds right here, and realistically, it's only at the front end that you could go like 3 straight running backs, unless you want to go Kyron or ETN, which is fine. But then it's like you can only pick off a guy here and there, sort of thing. So it's like Stevenson, or if there's a drop on one of these guys, you could potentially take a Henderson or a Harvey. If there's a huge drop ADP wise, Swift, if there's a drop. I like Manungai, Warren, but again, it's like 1 or 2 per round for the next few rounds until we get to like, again, even Pollard, I'm not a big Hubbard guy. Corum is a little, expensive, I suppose. I would take them if they drop. Price, Dowdle, Algier. I like that 3 running back range. Not a big Montgomery guy. And then Coleman in spurts, but I only want a little bit. Like I don't want, 15%, maybe 8 is fine, something like that. Don't like Woody. Don't like Krosky. Not a big Gainwell guy until we get some clarity, right? So it's basically you're just kind of picking guys off. That's why I fully agree. Like you have to get ahead at running back. You really have to feel good about your room, unless you want to throw some volume at it, which you can do that as well. But if you want to feel really good about it, you kind of have to go running back a little bit early in order to look at your room and say, yeah, this feels good. This can work, whatever. I'm going to pull up Brock Purdy. I just think it makes the most sense because it really kind of falls not necessarily off a cliff, but it's a lot tougher. So let's go Purdy. And then honestly, I can stop at 2, but we'll see. I might add a third. Absolutely it does, right? So if you take a wide receiver, the only place you can feel good about it taking a wide receiver is again at the start of the draft here. Let's say you get Chase or Puka, then you can go like Chase Brown, Walker, Irving, even Breece Hall, right? So back at this end, it's a little bit tougher to accomplish unless you went like Justin Jefferson, Hampton, and then you get like a falling Hall potentially, or you pull up one of these 2, ETN or Kyron, right? So it's an interesting draft board. That's kind of what I was hammering home the other day. I can't remember what episode, but it's an interesting draft board for sure. And you kind of have to strategize right away, like out the gates. You have to get your strategy in order. And kind of know who you're going to be clicking ahead of time. That's how I feel about it. So I definitely don't disagree with that. Lil Simo's in the house. What's up, man? Appreciate you. I think they're going to tag Breece Hall and trade him. That way you get something for him. But again, like, why wouldn't they just trade him last year at the deadline for a 4th, which is probably what they'd be able to get? So I don't know, man. It just doesn't make sense to try to play that game. It's got to be Pitts, man. Like, it has to be Pitts. 102. I love these running backs, but man, how do I not take Kyle Pitts here? I can kind of afford that. So with Jonathan Taylor and Jeremiah Love, I can afford that. So let's take a full round discount on Pitts. I feel like Washington could be, if they don't tag him, sounds like Atlanta might tag Pitts as well. But we'll see how that goes. If he's in Atlanta, that's fine. If he goes to a place like Washington or, I don't know where else I really would like him. Washington for sure for Pitts. Washington is definitely like a tight end dream landing spot right now. I feel like whatever tight end goes, if it's likely, is if it's a rookie, if it's Pitts, if it's Cade Otton, which I don't particularly expect, then they're going to be kind of through the roof value-wise as far as I'm concerned. We're talking about the Jets. They're not smart. I know. That's kind of why, bad teams stay bad. That's why bad teams stay bad, man. They just make poor decisions. And that would be, in my opinion, a poor decision to tag Breece Hall, who clearly just doesn't want to be there. And it doesn't make sense for you to pay that kind of money to a running back when you have two capable running backs there. I think Braylon and Isaiah Davis would be able to get the job done. And if you want to throw a draft pick at it, go ahead. But like, you have way bigger other needs. You don't even have a fucking quarterback. So like, what are we doing? Again, yes, it's the Jets. I get it, but like, man, make it make a little bit of sense, guys. Like, can we do that or no? Do I want to just take Tyler Shuck here? I don't necessarily care about this range of anything else. Might be a little overkill in the quarterback room. But let's do it. Let's do it. That's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. All of them are stacked up, which is cool. Again, not necessarily like I care about the stacking, but I don't hate that. The other thing too with this tournament is all the money is up top, all of it. 30-seat final, and you only get $100 to make the final, which is, you know, max. You max this tournament 4 entries, and you get your money back to make the final. Like, that's easy to do. So all the money is up top. So it kind of makes more sense to stack in this type of tournament, right? In this structure. So cool. That feels good. Let's do that. Let's do that. If George Kittle's still there, I'll probably just take him, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. There's some other clicks here that I kind of like. So EJ would have been the instant click. Emmett Johnson. We're not taking any more quarterbacks. That's for sure. I don't like Woody Marks whatsoever. It might have to be Kittle, actually. Ugh. Yeah, I think it's got to be Kittle. If he can make it back for even like week 4, this is a pretty good value. Expedited return from injury. I don't love the click, but yeah, let's just do it. I hate that. I hate that click, but let's do it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Right here. I have a similar 1 QB 9 RB start in my big board, I'm assuming. Different name. This guy's a drafter. Like, I know Binniger, JT Binniger too. I know this guy. Like, I don't know him, but I've drafted with him multiple times. This is an oddball start, don't get me wrong, but I was pretty confident he wasn't just gonna like kind of throw this draft. But 9 RBs, that's a little silly, obviously. 2 QB 9 RB now. It's a little aggressive. Haven't drafted much Breeze, hoping he falls now so I can get some pieces. I think you will be able to get some pieces, and I think he will fall. So I'm kind of butthurt because I've been drafting him like up here in the late 20s. So it's not like, I mean, he already fell a little bit here to 33, but I think he falls to like potentially the 3-4 turn. So I might be getting like a round in the red on Brees Hall for a lot of my teams, which is unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's still not the worst. Like, I like the Jets as an RB kind of spot, but I just don't like how it's killing a whole bunch of guys' value that I like. By that, I mean Brees Hall and Braylon Allen. I'm not particularly drafting Isaiah Davis. If Brees Hall's gone, then I think Braylon Allen's kind of the guy. I was going to click Tyrone Tracy potentially with the last round. So let's just do that. I'm going to get a pretty good discount, 9-pick discount on Tyrone Tracy. Let's do that. If I think that Cam Scatterbo is a walking concussion, which I absolutely do, then Tyrone Tracy is definitely still viable. So, and will Scatterbo even be ready week 1? Hard to say. Even if he is, again, with the injury, walking concussion, I do want a little bit of Tyrone Tracy in my life. So let's get him there at a nice little discount. So yeah, I think you will be able to catch up, and you'll be getting a better price than I did, which sucks for me, but we'll see if they actually tag him. It opens, I think, today, but the real deadline is March 3rd, is that we need to kind of keep an eye on as far as the deadline to tag. So that's a few weeks away, 2-3 weeks away sort of thing. And we'll see if they actually do tag him. and we'll kind of take it from there. Hopefully they don't. I hope they just like meet with him and he's like, fuck you guys. Let me go, man. Let me live my life a little bit. Like I'm tired of playing for this junk ass organization. They get like the worst grades as far as players rating the ownership. They get an F grade like every year. So I can't imagine anybody likes playing for the Jets, if I'm being honest. It sounds like Garrett Wilson does, which is odd, but either way. I do like Andrews here, but I just don't think it makes sense with what I'm doing. So it's Spears. It would be Braylon, but again, with this whole situation, he's kind of not necessarily dead, but at this ADP, he's dead. So let's pull up Spears, couple picks. I like that. We're catching up at running back with those 2 clicks. I like the Jalen McMillan. He would have been my pick if running back and Spears wasn't such a need. Though I'm in a good spot. Maybe McMillan was the correct click there, but I do like a lot of the wide receivers towards the end. I think you can get some nice values. I don't know. McMillan might have been the correct click on that one. Woody Marks' mother won't be sending you a holiday card. I doubt it. Yeah. I doubt you will. Woody Marks is Dameon Pierce 2.0. I think we kind of all know that, right? So it's just it's tough. What do you think about Derek Carr and the Jets? Well, the funny thing is he says like that sounds like the only potential real landing spot for him, right? Maybe there's some other players in there, but the funny thing is he says, yeah, I'm happy to come out of retirement to make a Super Bowl run for a Super Bowl contender. That sure as shit ain't the Jets. So what are we talking about? It's a weird one. I don't know. I'm not really sure what to make of that whole situation. But I don't know. If Derek Carr is on the Jets, I like Garrett Wilson a heck of a lot more. I like the running back that's catching passes a heck of a lot more, right? Potentially the tight end. But I just would be fairly surprised. Like those two things don't go together. Coming out of retirement to play for a Super Bowl contender and the Jets, those things don't jive. They don't go together, right? So we'll see what kind of happens. But it's the spot that makes the most sense as far as what we know about Derek Carr and what we know about the Jets. I'm going to just take a massive discount on Alvin Kamara here. That's an easy click realistically. At this point in the draft, either he's a Saint or he's not, right? And if Love is a Saint, then I'm sincerely hoping that Alvin Kamara is not, right? But he's going to be playing for someone next year. One thing I know about Alvin Kamara is he really, really loves football. He really, really does. And I don't think he wants to stop playing anytime soon. So if he's not a Saint, that's fine. That actually works better for this team. If he is a Saint, then I'm really hoping Kellen Moore leads that offense to even greater heights than last year. So that really helps out my my running back room. That feels really good. Feels really good. Chimera DK, I would have liked to click, but I really didn't want to, particularly with Tajay Spears, if I'm being honest. But I would have felt like I had to click him there. I'm going to take AJ Barner. I think he's a smash here with, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, from about a week ago, George Kittle's old tight ends coach coming to Seattle as the offensive coordinator. I think AJ Barner is a massive, value at the tight end spot down here. So feels good to wrap up our tight end room. That felt like an Eli Stowers. I think it's Stowers type of room. But if I can get a little discount on AJ Barner, I'll take it. So now it's just wide receiver and running back. This is kind of an odd-ass build, if I'm being honest. My wide receiver room kind of might be a little meh, but Tyrone Tracy back-to-back 1,000-yard season at cost. Tracy is a much better pick. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And you're talking total yards, obviously, which I know and I agree with. Again, he's a pass catching back as well, so gets a little bit of that. He's fine. He's perfectly capable as an NFL running back. And again, with how much I think we've already seen, Cam Scadaboo's going to be hurt throughout his career, most likely. I think he's a fine pick. Could not be any worse than Fields. The Jets, my lord, what a mess. Yeah, I mean he's definitely better than Fields as far as an NFL quarterback. That's for sure. It's just what he's saying, and the Jets don't jive because they are not Super Bowl contenders. Obviously. Let's pull up Keon Coleman. I'm happy to take the bet on Coleman in round 16. I'm happy to take that risk. As far as Joe Brady coming out and saying the best thing that ever happened to Keon Coleman is me being named off the head coach, the offensive coordinator, now the head coach. I'm happy to take that bet in the 16th round, right? If he ends up being wide receiver 1 for the Bills and he's an absolute smash league winner, awesome. That's amazing. If he's basically what he was last year, he's still an okay click right here. If he's exactly what he was last year. So 16th round pick. It's really not a problem. So there you go. I'll take some Keon Coleman. Not to mention, I highly doubt a Super Bowl contending team would want Carr as the starting quarterback. How's it going, by the way? I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you coming in. And I agree with this. Like the only way it happens is if there's an injury to a major quarterback, right? Then yeah, okay. Then we could see a team take a chance on a Derek Carr. But again, you'd have to trade him. So you have to trade some sort of asset. But I mean, again, the Saints will take something. They'll take something. So yeah, and maybe if that happens, maybe they'll force someone to take Kamara's contract or something, if you will, just as an example. But that's the only real possibility in my eyes is if there's an injury to a contending type of team that just needs that quarterback to kind of keep them in the hunt, sort of thing. So who that is, I mean, obviously I don't know, and we'll kind of see if that even comes to fruition. But I'm going to take a Ryan Flournoy share in the War Room. I'm very confident I haven't yet, and I will not in any other War Room, the slow, I should say, that I'm in right now. I'm not going to take Flournoy, but I'm going to take him. If I'm betting that Pickens is not a Cowboy, then Ryan Flournoy is kind of a smash. And I kind of have to, take my medicine, if you will, on that one. If that's my prediction and that's what I'm saying, then Flournoy has to be a good pick here. So let's do that. Alvin Kamara, PFF's lowest grade running back last year. I wouldn't be too sure about him playing somewhere next year. I'm confident that his resume and his desire to play, I'm confident he's playing somewhere. Very confident. And again, where'd I get him? 14th round? You're telling me it's not worth taking Kamara 20 picks past ADP in the 14th round? You wouldn't click him there? Jeff, come on, man. I think you would. If you wouldn't, okay, that's fine. That's fine. But I'm happy to take a gamble on Kamara in the 14th round. I always say in the 14th round or later, ADP doesn't mean shit. I don't care, right? You pull up anyone, do anything you want. So Coleman, perfectly fine anywhere. Flournoy, take him around early. Kamara falls to me in the 14th round. Yeah, I'm gonna take that gamble when I need running back too. I love Kamara at his cost. I have a ton. Yeah, I actually don't. So I'm not drafting a lot of Kamara, but if he's 20 picks past ADP in the 14th round and I need a running back and he's sitting there, I'm going to take him. So, reminder, Carr said he'd come back if a Super Bowl is a possibility and go to the Jets anyway. Yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about. It's not going to be the Jets. I don't think, though. Again, it makes sense with Musgrave going there. He likes Aaron Glenn and has a relationship with Aaron Glenn. So, I mean, the potential's there, but I'm going to take a Brashard Smith, one of my guys from last year. Again, I'm not going to get him much in the war room. So let's take a Brashard Smith, and I could and should be done. Yeah, definitely should be done at running back there. So let's just do that. Bring in a Chief. Only running back on the roster realistically right now. So that feels good. I do fully expect them to bring somebody in. But I think he's a fine click down here. I'm not sure what this means. Can you guys not see me? Am I not live anymore? Is there an issue? I think there's 30 something people watching right now. 32. I think we're live. We're gonna run one more draft after this. Yeah, for sure one more draft after this. Mac Jones sighting. I said it once, I'll say it again right now. I've said it multiple times, and I'll say it again right now. I think it's going to take a second round pick at least. Maybe not at least. It's going to take a third round pick at least, and potentially a second round pick. James Jones got some buzz today. He's a guy I've been drafting a little bit and should probably try to get a little bit more with the buzz that we're getting. It's always Jeremy Bernard. Always Jeremy Bernard. Yeah. Supposedly they have plans for Jordan James. Probably the backup running back, right? So I like Jordan James. It's a good pick right there. The Mac Jones situation, yeah, minimum a third round pick, no question, at least probably a third plus. I think a second round pick probably gets it done. And to me, I actually do that. If I want Mac Jones bad enough, if I think he's a starting quarterback, which he absolutely is, he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. There's not 32 of them in the world. And I think Mac Jones is a starting quarterback in the NFL. So a second round pick, I would pull the trigger on that if I were the Cardinals, you know? I absolutely would do that personally. Even if I'm like Atlanta. If I'm Atlanta, I do that, but that's just me. If I'm Miami, I absolutely do that. If he's your franchise quarterback, what's a second round pick? Dude's like 27, 28 years old tops. He's like Baker. A little bit, I think he's a little bit younger than Baker was. So, yeah, give me some Mac Jones. I'm going to check my couple lineups here in the war room because I don't want this player more than once. I want him only one time, and if I haven't taken him yet, then I'll take him here. I haven't taken him yet, which makes sense. I'm on the clock. It's Ted Hurst. I like Ted Hurst a lot. I like him a lot, and I do want another rookie. I kind of like this build. This is a fun team. This is actually kind of a fun team. It's kind of odd. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of an oddball squad, but Pacheco goes unsigned or a vet minimum 1 year deal, then gets cut, right? Maybe gets cut. He might make a team. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't really care where Pacheco goes. I really don't. I'm not drafting Pacheco at all. Unless like he goes somewhere where the opportunity is just wide open. But in the big board season, I highly doubt I click Isaiah Pacheco once. Highly, highly doubt it. Sounds like we're still good. Chat is blank till I click on it. Oh, that's fucking annoying. God, YouTube, what's going on? I'm a starting NFL QB, but I don't want the headache. 100% Who Hames, man. With that beard, you have no idea what you can accomplish with that beard. 5 spot scouting the nursing home for his best ball team. Let's take a look at the 5 spot. Derrick Henry, AJ Brown. It's not that old. Montgomery. Maybe it gets older. Debo, Tyreek. Oh, okay. Connor, Ridley. Okay. Jones, even Hawkinson. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Cousins, Pacheco. Yeah. Okay. You're right. You're right. That's old ass bunch of olds. Let's roll through this team quick, and then we're gonna jump into another draft. Yeah, we're live, man. I don't know if you're having issues with your YouTube, but we're live. 3683, most common for sure. Maybe a little overkill at quarterback. I potentially could have stopped at 2, but with this tournament, what's the advance? 2 of 12, right? Yeah, 2 of 12. So you want to advance, and then it gets easier from there. 2 of 10, 2 of 10, and then only a 30C final. I feel like 3 is borderline necessary unless you have like a Josh Allen, and that's pretty much it. Oh, weird. Yeah, YouTube's been weird. So sorry, man. we've been on for 50 minutes right now. YouTube's just being wild. It is being wild tonight. Hit refresh. Yeah, we've been live for 50 minutes. Sorry, man. Sorry, dude. YouTube's fault, not mine. But 3683, we got Caleb Williams, Brock Purdy, and Tyler Shuck. Think it was necessary. It's fun. It feels good. It's safe, but sometimes you got to do that with certain tournament structures. Jonathan Taylor, Jeremiah Love, Tyrone Tracy, Tajay Spears, Alvin Kamara, Brashard Smith. I really like this with the huge drop, 80 pick wise, 80 pick, ADP wise for Kamara. I'll take him there when I need some running back help. I like the Tracy click. Spears is fun. He's fine. Brashard Smith, I don't mind. I like this room. It works because I have Taylor and Love at the top. So it kind of affords me some swings at running back there. So hopefully I get one of these to kind of hit. And really all it takes is a Cam Scatterbo injury. So, or Pollard injury or Brashard Smith. Just it takes one thing out of these these 4 to kind of make something happen. Chris Olave, Terry McLaurin, Roman Dunze, Ricky Pearsall, Coleman, Flournoy, Bernard, and Ted Hurst. 3, possibly 4, possibly 5 wide receiver ones on their team, right? If that's correct about Coleman with Joe Brady, then wonderful. But realistically, you got to figure these 4 are the wide receiver 1 on their team. So that feels pretty good to me. All stacked, which is cool. Flournoy, I have to buy into my own medicine on that one. It's always Jeremy Bernard, and Ted Hurst, I think, is a great click down here. I'm a big Ted Hurst believer right now. Think I have him ranked probably higher than maybe anybody right now. I think I have him at 9, 8 or 9 is where I have Ted Hurst ranked. Kyle Pitts, George Kittle, and AJ Barner. That's a pretty strong tight end room, I feel like. So this is a fun team. Good squad, I think. I think it's a good one. So, 5 spot hates your team. 3 rookies is 3 too many. 100%. Some guys hate the rookies this year. Just starting to pay attention to this again. Who are big movers from last year's ADP? Let's jump into another draft and we'll chat about it. We're going to get into a big board. Let's do that. 20-second clock. Get into a big board. We're in, waiting on 5. Waiting on 5. Jump in. The water's fine. Who are the big movers this year? ADP wise, Hampton's pretty big, going fairly high, but I'm fine to click Hampton here. Who's really like the biggest mover as far as like, if this was last year, you'd be like, that guy doesn't belong there. Honestly, nobody really so far. As far as we're scrolling down, there's really nobody. Henderson, you could say. Harvey, you could say. Burden, I think, is potentially that guy, maybe. Although I don't want a stone 0 of Burden. I'll say that. Javonte, that guy's a big riser for sure. Scatterbo, Judkins with all his, all the cloudiness around him last year. Christian Watson was basically free last year. That's a big one. Michael Wilson for sure. Definitely not a guy that I'm drafting at all at this cost, at this price. I'm not drafting Michael Wilson. Period. But yeah, you could definitely say that. Scadaboo, yep. I like Ted Hurst too. Sounds like he'll go around in the second round. Big winner at the Senior Bowl. Yeah, like I was saying to PPR Tyler there. If you think, and I definitely think, and if you think Jordan Tyson is the number one off the line of scrimmage wide receiver in this draft, then Ted Hurst is number two. That's my locked in pick, 100%. Ted Hurst is number two as far as moves off the line of scrimmage. Chase goes, so we'll take a JSN share. I don't have a ton, so let's get a wide receiver here. Agreed. Michael Wilson and Parker Washington prices are bonkers currently. I don't mind Parker Washington. He's still my guy, man. I'm still going to be drafting him kind of right there. It's just the biggest reason why, in fairness to me, I guess, if you don't like Parker Washington, is the range he goes. So let's pull that up here. Like, as far as wide receivers in this range, it's basically like Ricky Pearsall, like in a vacuum and just like 1-to-1, who do I take between Parker Washington and Alec Pierce? It's Parker Washington for me. So as far as the range he goes in, and then you have guys like Harold Fannin, even a guy like Hurts, there's a lot more question marks this year if the tush push is banned, right? Like I said, Mike Evans, Michael Wilson we're talking about, and then it's like quarterbacks. So I think in the range that he goes, the kind of 12 pick range, I think he's a fine click personally. And I'm definitely not overweight on Parker Washington right now, but I'm definitely not a zero. That's for sure. Man, getting Jefferson at 14 feels pretty good. CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. I have a couple of those, and that's got to feel pretty good. Who do we have in the draft room? I think we got a few guys. We got Faraci at the 1. I'm not sure if he's watching or not, but shout out Faraci. We got Terrence in the 7 spot. Terrence Charles. We got Doc 79 in the 9 spot. Shout out. We got Champ X 3 champs 3 times in the 12 spot over here. Johnny Cash BP. That's kind of cool. All badges? No badges? Oh, we got a couple badges at the top here. There we go. If you're in the chat and you're drafting with me, let me know if you want, or stay silent. Do whatever you want to do. I feel like Brady Viper is a name I know for some reason. Yokohama as well. I feel like I know that name. ADP or mine. We're gonna do Chase Brown here. Pull him up. It would typically be London, especially at with the couple picks discount. But again, I can't fall behind at running back and feel good about myself. I just can't. I've got a Lamb Genty big board team. That feels nice. Do I have that? I don't know. I don't know if I have that. I think I probably do. I hope I do. Be nice to, that's a good start. Who's a running back currently not typically drafted that could go to 100% drafted this offseason? I want to talk about this in a different sense, kind of. Charles, what's up, man? Appreciate you. Or Terrence Charles, appreciate you popping in. I do want to talk about this. We're going to make a pick. We'll talk about this in a couple of kind of variations, because something that's been weighing on my mind a bunch lately is the other thing we're going to talk about with this. So let's make this pick. We'll talk about the running backs first, and then we're going to get into this kind of other subject that I want to get into that's been on my mind for like a week. So let's talk about that in a second here. Bucky would have been my pick for sure. Pickens goes. I'm going to have to adjust this Breece Hall. He's definitely going to fall down for me for sure. Kenny Walker would have been my pick. I don't really want to take Olave again. Do I want to take a risk on Breece Hall? I kind of do, I guess. If he's on the Jets, it's not the end of the world. It's right at his ADP. I had him ranked way higher. Let's just do it. I don't love it. But let's take Breece Hall. He's fine there. It hurts Breece. hurts Braylon Allen more than Breece Hall realistically if he comes back to the Jets, obviously. So let's talk about this. YouTube's back up. Nice. We did see a little jump in viewership, so that's cool. If you're watching, hit the like button, by the way. I haven't asked for it yet. We're an hour in exactly. Haven't asked for a like. Hit the like button if you don't mind. Appreciate that. I don't get a crazy amount of likes on my live streams, which is kind of frustrating. I don't know why I don't, but hit the like button if you don't mind. If you're new to the channel, you like the content, hit the subscribe button. You see the subscriber goal down there. We'll see if we get there, but let's jump into this. So who's a guy that I think Najee he's drafted, but it's not like he's definitely not typically drafted, right? So if he gets signed by the Chiefs, which I think is entirely on the table, and the reason why I've been drafting Najee, because I think he could go there. I think it makes a ton of sense. If he gets signed by the Chiefs, I think he flies up the board and gets drafted 100% of the time. So he's definitely a guy. If Mike Washington just has a very good combine, which is completely on the table, again, he could be that, RJ Harvey, not Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Bashal Tootin is the guy I'm thinking. They could just fly up the draft board after the combine. Those are two guys for sure. I mean, Brashard Smith, if he has a good run out in free agency, I just don't see that happening. I still think he can have a role kind of regardless. Even if, say, Najee comes in, I think Brashard Smith can have a role in this offense, but that's not necessarily a guy that I'd be thinking of. Who else? I mean, Isaiah Davis moves up the board, doesn't get drafted 100% of the time, but he can move up the board if Breece Hall is not tagged. Jordan James could have some serious buzz, some serious hype, and a good run out as far as, kind of flying up the board. I'm going to go Waddle here. I like Waddle a lot. Have him ranked quite a bit higher. Technically, you could say Devontae's the click here, but I'm just not doing it, and you can't make me. So let's go Waddle. Let's go back down. Who else do I think? I mean, I think LaQuint Allen should be going a lot higher. I'm drafting him a fair amount right now. It's not likely that anything needs to really change. So I think he'll stay down here. So he's not going to get 100% at all. But I think LaQuint Allen is kind of a smash. Who else? Really, there's not much else, because even if a guy like Kalen Black, Seth McGowan, Le'Veon Moss, even if they have good combines, which I expect someone to, I don't think anyone flies up the board realistically. It's just too weak of a draft year. So those are kind of the only guys that I think could really fly up the board. Devin Neal is for sure on that list. If they move off that contract and they move off Kamara, then, Devin Neal is kind of a smash down there as well. Who do I take here? Would have been Ibuka for sure, but it's kind of always Mekhi Lemon. Javante's a good click down here, though, but let's go Lemon. It's always kind of my guy, Lemon. He's kind of my dude. So those are kind of the guys I think that we could have in mind as far as becoming smashes. But what I want to talk about, the other half of this conversation that I want to get into, is quarterbacks. I promise you right now, February 17th, I promise you, there's a quarterback that is going undrafted right now that is going to be not necessarily a smash. I'm not saying draft this person regardless, because I may not like them at all, but there's going to be a quarterback that is not drafted right now that becomes whatever, the Michael Penix range, McCarthy, Brissett, this range of quarterback, pick 170 to 180, something like that. And who could those guys be? Obviously, Mac Jones, if he gets traded, we know that, obviously. Kirk Cousins should be going higher than he is right now, but that's a guy for sure. But that's not what I have in mind. It's more like a Mac Jones, sure, but not even that. And even the Anthony Richardson, sure, that guy's on the board. Derek Carr could be that guy, but that's not who I have in mind. It's more a guy like Justin Fields, maybe a guy like Quinn Ewers, but I don't particularly see that. And it's probably not in the big board. It's more in the summer. One of these guys is going to find themselves with a good run out, free agency. And then obviously it's a weak quarterback draft class anyways. So it's someone like that. Even a guy like that I had in mind, potentially like a Will Howard. Obviously there's a Tyson Bagent with the Cardinals situation. There's that. Will Levis, not likely, but he could be somebody that's on the board there. Trey Lance is really the guy in mind. Zach Wilson is another guy. Like if Zach Wilson gets signed by the Vikings, you're going to want a little bit of Zach Wilson, I feel like, right? Trey Lance goes to the Vikings. That could be a guy. So someone like this, like someone like the guys you see on screen here, one of these quarterbacks, there's going to be a quarterback that is not being talked about or drafted at all right now, that in the summer flies up the board in that, like I said, 170, 180 range, because it's not going to be like a smash pick or anything like that. But there's going to be somebody. I mean, Mariota, definitely not a guy. I'm not drafting Mariota regardless. I know some other guys are, but I'm not drafting him. But it could be someone like that. But that's more what's been on my mind for the last kind of, like I said, like week or so, is there's a quarterback out there that's not being drafted that we're going to want. And man, Carnell Tate, how does he fall to 67 and go right before me? That's a real kick in the nuts. That hurts my feelings a lot. Let's just go Drake May, I guess. Yeah, Drake May feels okay. Drake May feels okay. Little discount. Upset about losing the Super Bowl, so now he's on a revenge tour. Could be. Anyways, that's what's been weighing on my mind for the past like week or two. Is one of these. There's a quarterback out there, and it's some of the guys I've talked about that I think will kind of fly up the board a little bit. Jordan James, yep, Davis, name those two guys for sure. I agree with those ones. Mike Washington, another guy we talked about, yeah. Can't pass block at all, which is tough. That's something that could be taught though. So, I'm not, it makes it tough for him to get on the field as a rookie for sure. Caleb Johnson 2.0, but yeah, it's something that could be taught and can be learned. So hopefully he can get better at that and get himself on the field a little bit. But man, how does Carnell Tate go friggin' 14 picks past his ADP? That is wild. And then just one pick before me. Fun. That's fun. That's cool. Unfortunate. I'll take Parker Washington here. I do like the Ricky Pearsall, but give me a slot receiver in Liam Cohen's offense, man. Give me the slot receiver. So let's take Parker Washington. Feels good. ADP is overrated. I'm doing more responsible scrolling down this year. That's fine. I would agree with that. There's certain, I mean, I think if you guys watch the show for any amount of time, you know that I'm very firm on my takes and my stands, and I will not get bullied out of it. So there's certain that's like what I'm saying about Parker Washington is the range that he's going. So I don't feel bad about scrolling down whatsoever if I hate the range. And usually it's with running backs, where I'll scroll down and grab a guy, or some of these wide receivers down here, like even Worthy, Boston, right? Over like, I don't mind Pittman, but DJ Moore, I'm not in love with. Diggs, I'm not in love with. Johnson is a terrible price. QJ's price is crazy. It's way too high for me, Quentin Johnston. So that's a guy that I'm kind of avoiding and scrolling down against. So yeah, I think this is the time to do it. In the big board is absolutely the time to scroll down and kind of get your guys, I feel like. And I feel like it's fine to have, not extreme takes, but like I have higher exposures in the big board than I ever do in the Best Ball Mania season. So take that for what it's worth, I guess. Marshawn Lloyd, not for me this year. I'm not playing that game again, but I can understand where you're coming from. Yeah. I don't feel like I have to stack Drake May whatsoever with the rushing upside. I've been saying that a lot. Again, talking about it with PPR Tyler, the other episode we did. It's a big thing. That's a big reason why I'm not forcing stacks or stacking at all, is almost all of these quarterbacks have a little bit of rushing upside in them. So that's my take. Thoughts on Mike Evans ads? I have 60% so far. Mike Evans ads, ADP maybe. I don't like Evans ADP whatsoever. I think 60% is extremely aggressive, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not picking Mike Evans at all. If I'm being straight with you, I mean, I'll take Alec Pierce here. That's a huge discount. So yeah, give me some Alec Pierce. I'll take that. I'm not drafting Mike Evans at all. I'm not. The soft tissue stuff at his age, and it's been creeping up. Like, for me, I've been saying this a lot. I've always been a Mike Evans truther and apologist, and I've always been a massive fan of Mike Evans before it was cool to be a fan of Mike Evans. When he was going way too late in fantasy drafts, I was drafting Mike Evans. I'm a big fan of Mike Evans. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, all that kind of stuff. But when I look at Mike Evans right now, I see Julio Jones. So one of the greatest wide receivers in his day, first ballot Hall of Famer, all the things you want to say about Julio Jones. And he fell off in 2 seasons, 1.5 seasons. He fell apart. His body just wasn't cooperating with him anymore. Soft tissue stuff. And then it's just over. And I think that's what's going to happen to Mike Evans. I really do. That's kind of my take. And I'm going to be firm on that. And I'm not drafting him. I'm just not drafting Mike Evans. Unfortunately or fortunately, it is what it is. I'm making my bet on that. And I don't think it's going to burn me. Maybe it will, but it is what it is. That's what I'm doing. I'm not drafting Mike Evans this year. Isaiah's being drafted now, at least by me. That's fair. He's a fair click. But with this whole Breece Hall news, I'm going to go Rico. I haven't clicked him in a while. And I like Rico Dowdle. I think there's a good potential he ends up on the Chiefs. I think that's a great fit. Typically, I should be quarterback here, but let's go Rico Dowdle. A lot of people are drafting Isaiah Davis, and that's fine. It's just with this Breece Hall situation coming up now, it definitely muddies it up a little bit. So kind of hard to click Isaiah Davis for me right now until we get some clarity. But if Breece Hall's not on the Jets, absolutely he's a great click. I think he's a very good click. Jacobs is washed, might get released. Lloyd is very talented. I get it. Only if he can stay healthy. Yeah, it's the health thing, man. That's just, it's the same thing with Trey Benson too. I'm off the Troy Benson train. And as far as the Packers are concerned, like they could easily just draft somebody. Like they don't owe money to Marshawn Lloyd, right? So they can, I mean, I know they owe him some money, but it's not a lot. You get what I'm saying? So they could easily draft somebody to replace him and end Emmanuel Wilson. They could bring in another free agent. They could cut Jacobs and then bring in Algier, right? So I don't know. I'm not playing that game with Lloyd again. I've just been burned too many times as far as his health is concerned. Sounds like he'll be a Titan. Evans, maybe, yeah. He could be back with the Bucs. He could be a lot of different places. It's not him. It's just the health. And the soft tissue stuff at his age is never a good sign to me. I've just seen that game. I've seen that play out too many times throughout history. So I'm just not doing it. I get it if you're drafting Mike Evans, and don't let me talk you out of it. As firm as I am on my stands, you should be on yours as well. So if you like him, draft him. Don't let me tell you not to. That's for damn sure. Mike Evans is a wide receiver on almost every team. When healthy, he was dominant the past year. Injuries is definitely a concern, but when healthy, he's still very good. Don't disagree. Again, I've always been a massive Mike Evans guy. Massive Mike Evans believer. But again, I've seen this movie too many times, and I don't really want to watch it again. Could be Stafford, I guess, but no, we're not doing that. It could be Coleman. Let's take a Coleman share. I don't have a crazy amount of him, and he's kind of the last guy. Unless we want to do Emmett Johnson. I'm gonna take Coleman here. Let's get a Coleman share. It's typically Emmett Johnson, but I have a massive bag of Emmett Johnson. So let's go Coleman, mix it up a little bit. Get another quality rookie. Change up the exposures. On Mike Evans, 10 catch, 130-yard game this year. Almost all the catches were contested with zero separation, not encouraging. That's kind of always been his game, though. In fairness to Mike Evans, he's kind of always just been a winner as far as that's concerned. Like if it's Mike Evans one-on-one, throw it to him. That was why Brady was so great for him, because Brady would just throw it. I don't give a fuck. You're one-on-one, throw it. Even Baker does that too. So that 10 catch, 130-yard, it's like if Baker looks over and sees one-on-one with Mike Evans, that's where the ball's going. And it should. Every fucking time, that's where the ball should go. So, yeah. That's kind of, to be fair to Mike Evans, that's kind of always been his thing. That's always been how he wins, essentially, right? Damn, man. Fucking Darnold, I was really hoping was going to be there for me, pair up with JSN. Now I'm kind of in quarterback hell a little bit. It's a tough spot to be in. Emmett Johnson's still there. Ooh, I'm going to have to, okay, EJ goes. That makes me feel good about this click. I'm going to pull up Fernando Mendoza. It would have been Emmett Johnson without a second of hesitation there. This guy's sniped me twice. You in the chat, Sweet Leaf? I think you are. I think you are in the chat. I know that name. I've drafted with you. You're in the chat, aren't you? Sweet Leaf. That's the second time you sniped me. Igbuka, Emmett Johnson, Kenny Walker. I'm on to you. I know you're in the chat. Make yourself known. Yeah, there we go. Big Mike looked like he was in agony almost every single time he came up for a catch this past year. The end is near, sadly. That's what I'm saying, man. It's the soft tissue stuff that I've seen the movie and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it again with Mike Evans. I just can't do it. Packers don't have any early picks. I'm not looking at their whole, draft capital right now. Like I said, if they cut Jacobs and bring in Tyler Algier, regardless of anything, honestly, I'm not picking Marshawn Lloyd again. So I've drafted him. I drafted him a little bit last year. He was one of my highest drafted players as a rookie. Marshawn Lloyd, really liked him as a rookie. He just can't stay healthy. And once a guy shows you, believe him. Got sniped at all my quarterbacks as well this draft. Yeah, it can happen quick, man. It can happen quick. That's why I don't like to fall behind at quarterback at all. That's why Drake May was the click here. There's other guys I could have went with, obviously. If Tate was there, I would have taken Tate. But Jalen Warren, Tyler Warren, even Stevenson, any of those guys would have been fine, but I have to get a quarterback there. So, and then here, it had to be Mendoza. I was hoping Darnold was going to fall to just ADP. It's not like he was, falling 10 picks or anything. So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It's going to be Cam Ward. Unless I want to take a gamble on Waddle with Willis, but let's take Cam Ward. He's actually quite a bit safer than Willis. Even if we know Willis is the starter somewhere, I think Cam Ward is a better quarterback than Malik Willis, kind of regardless. So the rushing upside stuff with Willis I get, and I've played that game a little bit with Willis and Waddle, so I have some shares of that if it happens, but let's do that. And then I like my quarterback room. It's fine. We're done there. Definitely needed 3, obviously. So that's good. On an Alec Pierce team, the Mendoza click makes sense. Now is the time to speculate a little. I just really have I agree, and I think that's a possibility. And I mean, the Titans are another possibility. The Patriots, all of these quarterbacks are potential for Alec Pierce if he hits the open market, but I just don't particularly think he does. I think we'll see, but I've been saying the whole time, they have to pick between Pittman and Pierce. They have to make a pick. They have to pick one or the other. They don't particularly get both. So we'll see with what they pick, but I just don't think that they can get both. Man, I feel like I got to get a tight end here. I could take Spears. Well, let's take Juwan Johnson. He's a great click. Let's take Juwan Johnson. So yeah, We'll see. I just don't think that I think the Colts are going to pick Pierce over Pittman. That's my feeling. Yeah, I could be wrong on that, but my gut tells me, my gut feeling says the Colts pick Alec Pierce over Michael Pittman, and Michael Pittman hits the open market somewhere. That's kind of my gut feeling, but yeah, it's hard to say. They could keep both. There's always options as far as the cap is concerned. It's just a matter of whether the owner wants to cut millions of dollars worth of cash money out of their bank account instantly. It's always how it goes. But Two Spot thinks you get fantasy sports for winning Super Bowls. What has he got here? Must have been the last few clicks. Darnold. Yeah. And he needed a quarterback, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Lloyd has not shown enough for the Packers to trust him. Yeah, 100% agree with this, man. Like, regardless of what happens with the Packers and their running back situation, I'm not drafting Marshawn Lloyd. It's just not happening. It's not happening. Bindle's in the house. What's up, baby? Appreciate you coming in here. Agree with everything you say about Lloyd. I've been burned too, just saying the 20th round is a free lottery ticket. Yeah, that's fair. Go nuts. Again, don't let me talk you out of it. Don't let me talk you out of it. Pick Marshawn Lloyd. I just won't be personally. But go nuts. Go nuts. Like I just said a few minutes ago, I expect everyone else out there to have the exact same hard, firm stand on their takes as I do. So don't let me or anyone else talk you out of it. I might disagree with you, and that's fine. You might disagree with me, and that's absolutely fine. But yeah, that's kind of what makes this game fun is we're all a little bit different. And we draft a little bit different. And our teams end up being a little bit different, which is kind of the name of the game. You want to be a little bit different, right? What are we going to do here? Doc ends up with Mayfield's Shuck and Stroud. That's fine. That'll work for you. But he also fell in the Tyreek Hill sword and the Travis Hunter sword and the James Conner sword. Henry goes. I probably would have picked Henry, but that's okay. Not the end of the world at all. Tight ends are kind of replaceable for sure. Oh, man. And then Spears. I'm just getting sniped left, right, and center. Spears falls to my lap and then can't end up getting them. Let's pull up DK. I really like Jameer DK this year. With Cam Ward, sure, that makes it even better, but I'm a massive Jameer DK bull this year. Very much on that train. So let's pull up DK. I think that makes a lot of sense with what we're doing. Need a wide receiver anyways. Exactly. Boring as shit. 4 more for a bigger board for those who may be interested. It's getting a little long in the tooth for me to try to pull that off. Unless I'm literally the last one, then maybe. How many more bullets do I have on that sucker? I think I have 3 more for a bigger board. I have 3 more for a bigger. If it gets to 11, oh shit, I'm on the clock, and Kelsey would have been my click. I like Katron Allen a lot. I'm still going to click that name. Let's do that. I think Katron Allen can get on the field. I think he's what NFL teams are looking for in a running back these days. So, yeah. I think Lance Zierlein's what's it called? like rankings, I guess. The way he does his rankings came out recently, and he called him a special teamer, backup or special teamer sort of thing. I think, yeah, he could get drafted as like a handcuff backup, power back sort of thing, thunder piece for a team, whatever. And then all it takes is a small injury or whatever it is, or he just ends up being better. So I think Katron Allen is perfectly fine, especially like in the 15th round. I think he's fine. It's a good click. Appreciate that, man. Let me know if the bigger board gets to 11. If it gets to 11, I'll jump in. If not, then we're going to call it a night. So 4 more for a bigger board. If anyone wants to get in, jump in there, and then we'll see. We will see. We will see. Where are we at now? I'm in a good spot at running back, which feels good. We're in a good spot there. Quarterback, we're done. Wide receiver, tight end. I can always catch up at tight end. I'm not worried about that particularly. And I like getting Juwan Johnson there. So I'm really happy I made that click. That feels really good now. Scroll down. Maybe I just take Gunnar Helm. I think that makes sense here. It really does. It really does. It really makes sense. I might have to just click Gunnar Helm here. I think I do have to do that. Let's do Gunnar Helm. I don't particularly have enough of him. And I don't really want, I mean, usually it's Nick Singleton for me, but I'm not going to go down that road on this team. I don't feel strong enough about my running back room to bring in Nick Singleton here when I already have Coleman, Katron. I'm going to do some other stuff there. I don't mind that click. I don't know. That's an interesting one. Maybe Hawkinson's the correct click, I suppose, but I don't know. Give me Helm with the stack. Not that that matters, but yeah, let's try that out. Let's try that out. I'm not a big Elka Uminar drafter. I'm way more into Chimeri DK, but doesn't mean he's a bad click. Do I just take Singleton here? I guess I kind of do. I kind of want to go a different direction. But let's take Singleton. If he's there in the 17th round, I feel like I have to click him. Let's do that. I really love that, but I just kind of wanted to go a different direction with running back. That's all right. As a fellow Canadian, I encourage you to join the Drafters community. It's a Canadian company, eh? Drafters Canadian, that's cool. I don't feel the need, if I'm being honest. And I don't particularly like that structure. I like the structure of Underdog with the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. I just don't feel the need. I really don't. If I like win a big tournament or even this tournament, 200,000, and I have a larger bankroll, then I probably would expand to some other sites. I would probably prefer Drafters over DraftKings. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't feel the need, if I'm being honest with you. So I like Drafters. I support them. That's for sure. 15-2 my Titans mega stack. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Sounds like they need one for a bigger board. Jeez. Do we just do that? What the hell? What just happened here? Disable developer mode in your browser and try again. What the hell does that mean? Has anyone ever seen that before? Oh, I'm on the clock. Jeez, we're on the clock. Let's do Eli Stowers here. What the hell does that mean? Has anyone ever seen that before? It won't let me enter a draft. What's going on here? I was going to do that bigger board. We're done at tight end now. That's fun. Let's do Eli Stowers over K-Dot. Has anyone ever seen that before? What does that even mean? Developer mode? The hell does developer mode mean? Is this like a YouTube situation or what's going on here? I've had that developer message a bunch the past days. Has anyone else seen that? I've never seen that before in my life. Developer mode. Jeremy Bernard. Always Jeremy Bernard. Never gotten that before. As a former web developer, development was just a web-friendly version, web development-friendly version of your browser. What the hell does that even mean? I literally, we've drafted 2 teams tonight. Had 2 drafts tonight. That says, what the hell does that mean? Hopefully, I don't know. I tried to get into that bigger board, and we would have streamed that, but obviously we would have streamed that, but I don't know what to do about that. I don't know what that means. We'll see if I can. We're going to call it a night after this draft now. I don't want to dick around with that. Not knowing what's going on here. It's a $100 draft. I don't want to take any chances of things. Yeah, it's a glitch. What does that even mean? Developer mode. I've never seen that before in my life. You get the what's it called? The location error. That I've seen tons, but I've never seen the developer mode thing. Okay. That's something new. I do want to draft a bigger board on stream, which we will, but I think I'm going to set it up, not be the third and final draft of a stream. But I did try. I tried 2 or 3 times to get into that bigger board, so can't say I didn't try. And but we'll set up a bigger board stream. I do want to I definitely want to stream one for sure. That's going to happen, but not tonight. We're going to wrap it up after this last pick. We'll go over a few guys' teams. Terrence will go through Doc, Champ, Farachi. If you're in the chat, let me know. And then from the couple guys that I saw, I think it might be tough. We'll see. We'll take a look at it. Let's just do Kyle Williams. Love me some Kyle Williams. Stacks up with Drake May. Why not? 20th round pick. It's either Kyle Williams or like Jack Bash, but I think I have way more Jack Bash than Kyle Williams. Let's do that. I don't want to go with another rookie. So there we go. Let's do that. Let's do that. 1.8 real talk. Nap ball. Nice. Good to know. We'll go over that. I don't know if Farachi is watching or not, but let's go over the squads. So 3683 again for me. Drake May, Fernando Mendoza, Cam Ward. I like it. That's good. Good. Had to pull up Mendoza. I had to kind of focus on it after missing out on Darnold. Chase Brown, Breece Hall, Dowdle, Coleman, Katron Allen, and Nick Singleton. I think it's fine. I really didn't want to click Nick Singleton there. I wanted to go with like the Quint Allen or Jordan James or something like that, like a second-year guy, backup sort of situation. But it's kind of when he's staring at me, a couple picks past ADP. I do like 2 free agents, and then like I have 1 running back that's on his team. I don't really like this room. I really don't like this room. 1 running back that is on the team that he's playing for. Breece Hall maybe on the Jets, maybe not. Dowdle's not, and then 3 rookies. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this running back room, if I'm being honest. JSN, Waddle, Lemon, Washington, Pierce, DK, Bernard, Kyle Williams. I like this room. That's fun. I like that. Juwan Johnson, Gunnar Hellman, Stowers. That works. It's okay. Nothing crazy, but it's fine. Really, it's just this running back room that I think might be the downfall of this team, but we'll see how she goes. Let's start at the bottom. Let's go Champ X 2693. Joe Burrow, Herbert. That's good. Happy to stop at 2 there. Makes sense. Achan Hampton. Achan Hampton, Gainwell, Mason, White, and Tucker. I like that room. Yeah. It's a good running back room. I'm not a big fan of Gainwell, especially not pulling him up, but that's okay. I wouldn't pull up Mason either, but I get it. You're on the turn. You know, you got to kind of get your guys if you want them. T. Higgins, Quentin Johnston, Myers, Jennings, Dobbs. Ridley, I'm not drafting at all personally. A little bit of ADP discount, so that's fine. Horton, Flournoy, and Vele. I'm not drafting Vele either, but I don't mind this room as a whole. There's no wide receiver 1 particularly. You could say Myers, I guess, but maybe not. But there's no wide receiver 1 at all on this team, really. So that's kind of, but I mean, throw some volume at it. There you go. Loveland, Likely, and Otten. I like that tight end room a lot. That's good. Quarterbacks are good. Tight end room's good. So if 3 rooms are quality, then one's going to, it is what it is. You can't have all your rooms be in great shape. You just can't. So, and that's an okay wide receiver room. I like this team. That's a good team. That's a fun one. I like that one. Doc 79. We've got 3773, Baker, Shuck, and Stroud. That works. I'm okay with those quarterbacks. James Cook, Love, Connor, Claiborne, Neal, Davis, James. A lot of swings. I mean, again, like I said in the last draft, having Cook and Love kind of affords you some swings. I don't like Connor, but you got a huge discount, so that's okay. And then waited till 200 to pick another. I'm not a Claiborne guy. Neal can be fine. Davis could be fine. James could be fine. So I think it's okay. Again, when you start Cook and Love, it makes it a lot easier to do what you did down here. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a weakness, I suppose. But if Cook and Love are who we expect them to be, then I think you'll be okay. Then you just need one thing to happen, and that could be Jordan James. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Olave, Jameson Williams, Watson, Evans, Hill, Hunter. This is soft. This is definitely a tough wide receiver room, unless like the ghost of Mike Evans and Tyreek Hill's past, show up, then you're in good shape. But Christian Watson, I have a hard time with Christian Watson's price. I really do. With his injury history, I have a hard time clicking him where he goes. I have a couple shares, but I'm definitely not going to be overboard. I'll probably be like 4% Christian Watson or something like that. I just think his price is a touch egregious, if I'm being honest. I'm not drafting Hunter personally, just not doing it. I'm not drafting any of these 3, but doesn't make me right. Again, the ghost of one of their pasts needs to show up, I think. Tucker, Kraft, Laporta, and Schultz, that's fine. That's fine. It's an interesting squad. Definitely did what you had to do on that one. That's for sure. We've got the 8 spot in the chat. Josh Allen, Jared Goff, that's good. Stop at 2. I'm happy with that. Derrick Henry, Javonte, Pollard, Tracy. I hate Mixon. I'm not drafting him at all, but doesn't make me right. Ray Davis and Chris Rodriguez, that's pretty quality with the volume. I think it's fine. Yeah, as long as Javonte comes back to the Cowboys, Pollard doesn't get cut by the Titans, or he goes to a better situation, which is back to the Cowboys. It's possible. I like Tracy. Davis is a quality handcuff, and Chris Rodriguez is still going to have some kind of a role, I believe. Even if or when they draft somebody or bring somebody into Washington, I think Chris Rodriguez is still going to have a role. Amon-Ra, Zay Flowers, Metcalf, Bryant, Josh Downs, Slaw, Coleman, and Walker. I like the Walker click. I have a couple myself, and I would like to get a couple more. I think he's a fine click down there. Keon Coleman, I like that with Josh Allen. Who's the other? Jared Goff with Amon-Ra. I like that. Kincaid, Ferguson, and Harold Fannin. This is a fun team. I like this team. Nicely done. Nicely done. I like this team. Double stack with Tesla, double stack with Coleman and Kincaid. Kincaid behind ADP, Coleman at ADP, which is fine. Yeah, I like this team. That's a fun one. That's a fun one. We got Terrence in the 7 spot. I've done everything. I've always literally shut down, and then it gets back. You can turn off the developer. It does not seem to help. Madness. Weird. We'll see how she goes. Without shutting down. We'll see. I mean, I'm on Chrome, so I can always try a couple other, browsers. Try Safari. I could try Firefox if I need to, but shooting for the moon on that one. Fair enough. Fair enough. Taking my computer to a guy. Yeah, get it fixed. Draft from your phone. I have 33% Golden and 17% Watson through 36 draft. Let's go Pack. I think that's aggressive, man. I do, but that's on if you're a Packers fan or you believe in the Packers, go nuts. I'm just not drafting the Packers at that kind of a clip from what we've seen from that offense in the past few years. But I can understand the clicks. He's not unrestricted. He's a restricted free agent. So he can't just go anywhere. They have the right to match anything. I feel like he will be back with the Commanders for very cheap, and he will have some kind of a role. It won't be very much. It'll be maybe exactly what he did last year, maybe a little less. But he's not an unrestricted. He's a restricted free agent. So yeah, maybe somewhere in between these past 2 seasons, let's call it like 304, like 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, something like that. I think in the 20th round, he's a fine click, but not unrestricted. He's restricted, most likely to be back with the Commanders. I see Jacobs and Pack run game taking backseat to the aerial attack this season. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think it's more likely if Jacobs is not on the Packers that the aerial attack could take over sort of thing, but we'll see. We'll see on that one. 3, 6, 7, 4 for Terrence. He goes Daniels, Purdy, and Cousins. I don't mind that. Bringing in Cousins with the last pick. I believe last pick, right? Yeah. No, 19th round, whatever. I think that's fine. I like that. And that's very good with Daniels, Purdy, and then it's okay to bring in Cousins. I don't mind that. We've got McCaffrey with Purdy, Barkley, Jacobs, just the olds, which is fine. It's nothing wrong with it. They're just, 3 older running backs. Sampson, Caleb Johnson, and Rashard Smith. It's fine. You need health out of these 3, obviously. You need these 3 running backs to stay healthy, and then these 3 don't really matter who they are. If they don't hit at all, and these 3 do, last year, this would have been perfectly fine. 2 years ago would have been, McCaffrey would have been tough, but you get what I'm saying. So it's fine. You just need these 3 to stay healthy, which I think is a relatively tall ask as far as Jacobs and McCaffrey are concerned. Barkley, I think, will be fine, but as long as they stay healthy, you're in okay shape. McLaurin, stacked. Marvin Harrison, Ricky Pearsall, also stacked. DJ Moore, Godwin, Debo, and Rashid Shaheed. You did 7, hey? I probably would have added instead of the 4th tight end, I would have went with another wide receiver myself, but it's fine. It's definitely fine. You got wide receiver 1, probably wide receiver 1. In my opinion, wide receiver 1, but it doesn't mean he's the number 1 option with Trey McBride, though that could all change with the coaching staff and the offense, scheme, philosophy changing. So I guess I would say he's wide receiver 1. So that kind of is okay. Debo, we'll see where he goes. I don't mind the click. Same thing with Rashid. I don't mind any of these clicks for sure. I just probably would have added one more wide receiver myself. Like if you're going to sacrifice points somewhere, it's at tight end. So instead of Jake Tonges, I would have taken someone else at wide receiver personally. But because even with that, Theo Johnson, Henry, and Njoku, that's fine. The 3 are fine. You don't need Tonjes. I get it. You want to stack them up, but you already have Pearsall and McCaffrey. So why do you really need to full stack the Niners? And Tonjes could be not necessarily a 0, but call it week 6. He could be a 0, So That's what I would have done different there, is definitely went with another wide receiver instead of the 4th tight end, personally. And I think that's all we got in the chat, right? I don't think Farachi's in here. Sweetleaf hasn't made himself known if he is. So that's kind of that. We're going to leave it there. All right. That's it. Packers defense stinks. That'd be the reason. Yeah, they could be a lot better this year, though, with Micah coming back. And then they need to shore up the back end of that defense for sure. But we'll see how it goes in the offseason. But we're going to get out of here for the night. If you're still around and haven't done it yet, hit that like button if you don't mind. If you're new to the channel, again, you appreciate the content, hit that subscribe button. We have the subscriber goal down here. We're only about 300 away. Hopefully we can get there before the NFL draft. We'll rip a 12-hour live stream, guests galore, draft galore. Should be a good time. It was fun last year, so we'll see if we can get there again. We'll be back tomorrow night because I didn't go live on Monday, long weekend, and it kind of got away from me, and I kind of forgot, if I'm being honest. But we're going to go live tomorrow night again, rip some drafts like we always do. That's all I got. Hopefully some news comes out, some things change, we get some more information. Combine's about a week away, more like 10 days as far as being on the field. That'll obviously be the last bit of information we get. I still have some tape I got to watch, especially quarterbacks. We'll get through all that kind of stuff. Regardless, like I was saying off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we were right. We win the war room and the big board. Have yourselves a great night. We'll see you.